Welcome everybody, welcome. My name is Brother Chris and my colleague that's on the other line is...
The gypsy lady, Eva.
So Eva, I know basically though that this whole week has been really weird with weather-wise throughout North America, that's within the States, even parts of Ontario, even Northern Canada. So what has happened in your area just recently?
You mean all the thunderstorms that hit right into the house and blow out half the machines?
Oh my gosh, that is not good. That is not good.
Uh, which is really strange because we still had electricity. Go figure that one. And then this morning we had the same thing happen, except it didn't blow out the pumps. So
Well,
we were lucky. But again, we had a thunderstorm go through with lightning and thundering and all kinds of strange stuff.
yeah, we're where we are. For those that are listening in or watching, we are so right where I am personally. We are located in southern Ontario, so we're so close to Michigan. What we got though last night though, we got the lightning show, but Toronto's a little bit north from where we are. They just got hit pretty bad. They got strong winds last night. They got one heck of a storm, and also flooding actually within Toronto, Ontario, Canada. But yeah, we've been shooting with a major scorcher, and yes, I was watching somebody yesterday on YouTube. They are hillbillies, originally from Michigan, but now they live actually down in Branson, Missouri area, and they were actually up and they were talking about the thumb. Now, can you start explaining about the thumb, what that means? Because you always talk about that each time.
Yeah, smitten by the mitten and living in the thumb. Uh, the thumb of Michigan, if you look at a map of, bleh, let's try that again. If you look at a map of Michigan, it looks like a hand that's laying on the map. And if you look at your hand, there's the thumb. And it's from the first, or the knuckle that comes out of the first knuckle that comes out of the palm up to the tip of the thumb.
Yeah.
That is literally the thumb of Michigan. Uh, Kind of goes from Saginaw down to Flint and over to Port Huron.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a lot of beautiful scenery in this area. There's a wonderful beaches all up through the thumb. It's just a wonderful area. And it's far enough from the cities that you can get away, but close enough where if you need something, you can be there within 45 minutes.
Yeah, but the cost of living actually off the water must be sky high rocket.
I don't know. I've never really known anybody that actually, well, yeah, I do. And from the way she talks, I don't think it's all that high, but it costs more to live by the lake.
Yes, that's because so. And a couple of days ago, I sent you a video. Now we've discussed this location quite a bit actually underneath our shows here. So this video though I sent to Eva was actually of the hillbillies. They went to one mall, and the
Lakeside.
yes, and the gentleman was talking about the mall. Were you able to watch that video?
I watched part of it. It started getting kind of wonky, so I thought I'll just wait, make sure when I open it tomorrow, I'll do it then type thing. And tomorrow was when the proverbial caca hit the fan.
Okay. All right.
And so I haven't even been online all that much.
Okay. Well, how much of that video did you watch?
Just the very beginning. And like I say, it was starting to get really kind of wonky. And that could be our, with the storm coming through, it was interrupting all the,
Satellites.
yeah, that.
Yeah.
And, but I did look through it as best I could, as far as I could, and it was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well,
Kind
those
kind
guys
of
there,
interesting.
sorry, I watch quite a bit. Right, because again, though they're from Branson, Missouri, and guys say out to there, hey Donna, hey Will. Hopefully they watch the show. But yeah, doing special shout out to them today, which would be awesome. So we'll be right back, and we're going to be talking about today's topic, the one though that you guys will be looking at, which is actually supernatural beings, actually of the Native Americans. So we'll be right back actually after this commercial.
This arts and craft market at the Stratford Park Museum. 57 vendors showcasing handmade creations for the community to enjoy and purchase. Organizers say the goal of the market is to bring cultures together in peace and celebration while also exchanging knowledge.
Alrighty, so yeah, we're back. So again, though, today's topic, though, that we're going to be looking at those the first 5. There's 10 altogether. We're going to be looking actually at the top 10 Native American legends, these cryptics that you may know of. So I'm going to give this to Eva to start off with, though. I talk too much.
I was gonna let you start because it is a Canadian one.
Well, no, it's not only Canadian, though. It's North America. Don't forget, you're in North America right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let me check my locator. Got to keep the aliens happy.
So.
Well, it is of the First Nations of Canada in modern day British Columbia, and it's I'm not sure I'm saying this right, okay? The Ogopo.
That's the best way to say it, but yeah.
And it's a water spirit or a water demon, depending on what side you're standing on. One of the things when I was doing a little bit of research on this, some of them are considered to be, we as white Europeans would consider them monsters, but many of these it depends on what side of the line you're standing on. They can be very benevolent or they can be very demotic. And even though they call this a water demon, and they also say, or a water spirit, it kind of goes both ways. And it says that those who don't believe in him often wind up drowning or narrowly escaping death.
Yeah.
So he seeks out, I don't want to say revenge, but retribution, because he demands tribute from anyone wishing to cross this one lake. And if it's not offered, people are drowned in a sudden storm. And apparently this is something that carries into many other areas where if you don't give him his just due, he gets angry and comes back and does a nasty to you.
Has been well known, though. There again, though, not only the lakes, but with any waters throughout North America. That's down. So not only British Columbia, but Alberta and what's the state that's just below British Columbia?
Washington.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So yeah, Washington area. This creature has taken down a lot, actually, of ships within water.
Especially those close to the shore.
Yeah.
There are other spirits further out who can do a lot more damage.
Yeah, but it's well known. Even might have actually heard about the story before reading about it. Actually, to do with the creature. Probably actually as a child or whatever, probably going close to waters. Mom or grandmas or aunts or uncles have said, just watch it, and be safe. Be cautious for what you're going into. So this is one legend, though, that's well known. Now the area of the indigenous, though, unfortunately, I don't have that right now actually underneath me, but it is one of the First Nations. And yes, it's they say it's basically in British Columbia, but it's not. So.
Well, maybe the name is part of that First Nations, which would include British Columbia. But so many of these spirits that are listed on this here, I can find them in other areas with other tribes, but they have different names, so it gets a little confusing after a while.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, in the First Nations, it's a water spirit or demon. In other words, it's benevolent as well as not so benevolent. I don't want to say evil. That's not right. He's just play his game and you're fine. If you don't, well, okay, my turn. And but in other ones that I have read about him, actually in a couple of the tribes along the eastern seaboard,
Yeah.
those spirits have a tendency to be female. So it's just kind of interesting. And one of them that would be kind of the equivalent, if you don't pay tribute or pay whatever you want to call it, she will get very, very temperamental, and you never know when it's going to hit type thing. And she will eventually take you out.
Yeah, and it's sort of like down actually in I would say those down in Mexico. I don't know if it's 100% accurate, but there is a legend to do with the female, sort of to do with water, that will actually take you into the water and drown you.
Yes.
So, the story for the female though is well known within the spiritual paranormal field. But again, we're kind of looking at that, but we're also looking at actually at the first native people, the first people.
Yes, I realize that, but so. I was just bringing it. But you know what I find even more interesting is this particular monster, lake monster, appears. Various forms of it do appear all over the world, so it's like, is there something connecting these or not?
Yeah.
Just something to think about.
Yeah. So our next one that we're going to look at though is actually the skinwalker.
Oh yeah.
Now the skinwalkers though, for myself though, since I am actually First Nation, but I am Cree, skinwalkers though I really don't want to deal with. But skinwalkers are actually shapeshifters. They can actually shapeshift actually into any animals at all. They can actually shift actually into, which is well known to do with rabbits, foxes, deers,
bears.
Bears, yes. They can actually shift. Go ahead.
I believe wolves.
Yeah.
They will put into wolves.
Yeah. But the best way how to tell by a shapeshifter, basically though, and like a skinwalker, is what they say though is their face features. Their face features are not normal like an animal. They still have a touch actually of the human within inside them. Now, for these though, people say that they're evil spirits, they're ghosts, they're demons, all together, is what they technically are within some beliefs. But they're well known throughout, again, those North America. They are most dangerous. And I don't know. Have you ever come across anything like that, Eva?
Not in my own personal experience, but when I was out in Arizona, I did meet a shaman who talked of the skinwalker, but he never really explained it, and he just said, "You are protected." That, you know, he gave me a blessing of some sort. You are protected, and among other things, because he did give me my spirit animal as well as my name. And when he finished that particular, he says, "You are protected against the skinwalkers, and you don't have to worry."
Yeah.
And I'm going, "Hey, that's cool. What's a skinwalker?"
But you've actually probably looked up so many times about skinwalkers.
Oh, skinwalkers are so interesting. They say that they're evil, but I don't really. You know, it's not evil like the devil evil. It's evil like seeking retribution against people who have offended.
Yeah.
The native people. and that's sort of evil. If you want, I don't like using evil.
Well,
I just
evil could be different things, really.
yes, I know. I just
So
don't like that designation. I just think of him as someone who demotic would be a better way to put it.
that's the concept. Yeah. So I'm not sure if it's this one or the next one, but how of what I've heard though is skinwalkers are actually taken by cannibal. Um, People eating people is how they become a skinwalker. So many people think though that all right they got skin that they're going to cloak themselves, but no, how they actually become though skinwalker though that they actually have a bug. They're bitten by the bug, and so they start cannibalizing actually other people, and that's how some legends are actually within the indigenous have how they become skinwalkers. So, but who really knows exactly of how they actually do become skinwalkers? But that's one of the legends.
Well, I think the thing that one of the things that kind of how can I say this? One of the things about like Skinwalker, Wendigo, the rest of them on the list, we have and I'm speaking from the Europeans, the who came over here with a lot of preconceived ideas in religion and such, and they look at some of this stuff and it's like, oh, that's evil. And that's why I have a difficult time with it, because I think we have to understand the whole thing, the whole culture around that monster to really understand what it's all about, because it's like all it does is bad things. Well, no, not really.
Yeah,
They protect as well as they give as well as they get, I guess.
yeah, sort of like yin and yang then.
Yes,
It's
yes.
like that. So yeah. So we're gonna come actually onto our next one, and this one here, Eva actually has a kind of a comical story. If you guys missed last week's story, she will share this to do with you, to do with the story though that she's actually been sort of doing up. But yeah, I'll give this one over to Eva.
Okay, that's the Wendigo, and the Wendigo is supposed to be a rather vicious monster in the Canada, in First Nations of Canada, as well as the Plain Indians culture. Jeez, I mangled that one. And but actually, a form of the Wendigo, if you look at a map of North America, it's that sweep that goes from the West Coast right around to the East Coast, or the East Coast right around to the West Coast of the various tribes. And they have a Wendigo sort of creature, if not actually a Wendigo or something similar, throughout North America.
Yeah.
And the one that got me is in the Chippewa or Ojibwa, that the Wendigo is a very prominent in one of the stories, or one of the legends of the people. And I don't quite agree with what's on the paper, because I was told elsewise that the Wendigo was actually a woman, and she had never known a man, and because of that, she could never be uh, she could never be sacrificed to the Wendigo and became a Wendigo. And because of that, she became, well, she couldn't be satisfied in any way. Let's just put it that way. And I find it fascinating, because it's like that's really playing on the very negative side of womanhood, kind of playing into the whole Eve thing, if you want to put it that way. Just a little thought there.
I got no complaints about that. So of what you've been saying. So
And the one thing that got me is many of the descriptions is he's emaciated human with horns and is never satisfied no matter how much it eats, how much, and whatever is needed, they're never satisfied, and is constantly doomed to wander and seeking out whatever they need. And I I don't know. I think about the one of the women that I knew, Virginia. She was Ottawa? No. M. What's the M one?
Mohawk.
Mohawk, from the Niagara area. And we were talking about it one time because it's the first time I actually ever heard the name Wendigo. And she was like, it's not what you think. They just don't put it out there right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's basically the Wendigo.
Looks like a. Now I forget if it's a Wendigo or if it's a shapeshifter. But if somebody hears a cry, they say though that somebody within your family is soon to die.
Oh, really? I have not heard that one.
Yeah. Now I forget if if that's the Wendigo or if that's a shapeshifter, but that's what one of the legends is.
Look that one up.
Yeah, so there's stories about that one. So our next one that we're going to take a look at though is the flying head. It's not the flying head, but it's called flying head. Most people actually think about like a head, like a human head flying around and all that, but it's not really a human head that's flying around. What it is though, it's like a mask. It is similar to the Wendigo, but it is a little bit different though. Again though, it's got the human flesh, but it's a mask. That's the best way I interpret it myself. It's well known within the New York area of the states. It's well known around the Hudson River, and whoever sees it though, actually they say great negativity will come upon you. Now with this though, it's one mask thing though I would never want to see my person myself, because the way it looks. I remember actually as a child being out in British Columbia. We went to the British Columbia Museum, and what I did though is I was petrified of the mask area, because I was thinking about this topic, which is the flying head. I didn't know at a very young age about this, but again though, it's one thing that I'm still scared of. The younger men grow tired basically from it, and they're actually murdered by elders. So this is what is written actually within inside of it. Cuts off their heads and handles them into, like, they're thrown actually into the lake. So I don't know if Eva has anything else to share about this, if she's been quickly reading. But yeah, the flying head though, again though, it's not like a human head that's cut off by the chopped or whatsoever, but it is these are actually legends and also cryptics. So we're going to jump on to the second one, and this one here I'm going to give to Eva. It's pretty cool.
Are you telling me that I'm a two-faced whatever?
No. Right when I read this, so I thought directly about Batman, about Two-Face character.
Yes.
So.
Well, it could very well be, although he doesn't have the talons protruding from his elbow, so he can kill them.
Yes.
Can you imagine trying to do that? Oh well. And There are other entities who have two-face kind of thing, but they're benevolent and they help the people. One is from the Sioux, excuse me, and but the two-face features in a lot of different tribes throughout nations throughout the North American continent, and excuse me. And the best known legend, and I read this one and I'm going like, whoa. A pregnant lady is murdered by a two-face who takes one of her unborn children with him and leaves the other. The twins grow up, find each other, and decide they're going to avenge their mother, and they become known as the Monster Slayers. And the two-face continually live in fear of the Monster Slayers, or the two-face Slayers. And they're kind of ogre-like beings. And the only way they make contact with humans is because they want to kill them for something to eat. And to avoid this, you do not look directly at the stranger who comes to you, and or you're not supposed to look in their face, or you just aren't supposed to look at them, and never to trust someone that the face one sees is the only face a stranger has. It's kind of a good moral story, you know.
Yeah.
That we are all a little bit two-faced, and I know you mentioned the down in Central America, among the Aztecs. It's either the Aztecs or the Mayans, and they also have a two-faced monster that if he comes to you with the kind, benevolent face, disaster follows. But if he comes to you with the ugly face and, you know, like he's going to kill you or something, that's the one to trust, because he won't do it.
Yeah.
But you have to face him, type thing.
Yeah.
And I find that kind of interesting too. What I also find interesting is the two-face is actually it is actually kind of a moral lesson for people to consider from all the legends about them, from what this is saying. And it makes you got to think about how you treat people and how they treat you, which I find most interesting.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool news, because it actually, what you were saying though is within the Sioux area. Now, what area of the Sioux? Now, there's two different Sioux for people that are not from North America. There is Sioux, Michigan, and also Sioux, Ontario. Now, were you able to figure out what Sioux?
Well, it's not the Sioux of the Sioux tribes. It's spelled very differently. Sault Ste. Marie is spelled S-A-U-L-T. Oh, golly. I'm sorry?
S-A-U-L-T.
Yes.
Yeah.
As opposed to the Sioux tribe, excuse me, I'm still with the old school and I apologize. The Sioux Nation, S-I-O-U-X, spelled entirely different.
Yeah. So gosh, though. Yeah, is
it? And then there's.
Go ahead.
And then there's Sweet Sioux, but that's a whole different Sioux altogether.
No, we're not going to sing that song. So yeah. So
if I sing Sweet Sioux, will you sue me? Oh.
But yeah, so those are actually the top 5. Join us next week while we look actually at the next top 5 cryptics, and then we've got another cryptics that we're going to be looking at though. And with those next ones after all that, which are going to be, if I can pull up the note, which is actually 10 mythical American monsters. Some of them are the same, some of them are not the same. And that's what we're going to be talking about. So that's going to happen for the next 3 weeks, hopefully.
You know, I looked at that, and I didn't see a monster called Donald Trump, but oh, I'm sorry. I
So
am so sorry.
don't feel
Oh,
bad. Don't feel bad. So yeah, I know that's what we're going to be looking at. Actually, also with the Americans. One thing though that a lot of people don't realize though, and it's true though, if you look at North America and took a turtle, it's pretty much in the same shape. So you will be hearing. So you hear a lot of it of us indigenous turn around and say Turtle Island,
mhm.
right? Because we're actually in the shape of a turtle. A lot of people have not noticed that, but it is true. So that's actually for North America. But again, those thanks for joining in this week, and we look forward for talking to you guys next week. Thanks a lot. You guys have a
Yeah.
wonderful day.
Yes. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for the privilege of your time.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.